there, my name is Taylor Beck, and the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So I run competitions each week on my channel. I'm sure you know if you're not new to my channel. Over the festive season, over Christmas, we had a really good prize, which was like a whole bunch of stuff. The Rabbi from another planet's Christmas stocking, I called it. Again, if you're new to my channel, I love Christmas, which is a bit incongruous because I'm a rabbi. I'm a freaking rabbi living in Samaria, Israel, Samaria. But that's a little bit. I do love Christmas. Anyway, so one of the prizes was this. I had a spare copy of this book, The Nth Doctor. The Nth Doctor, which lists all the Doctor Who movies that were nearly made but never were, especially from 89 to 96, and there's a few of them. One of them really caught my attention. It was really, really interesting. Would have been directed by Leonard Nimoy. Sounded really interesting, starring was it Pierce Brosnan as the Doctor. So I'm going to go through that whole thing with you. I've been through the whole script. I've written notes and everything. Yeah, much like when I do my reviews, I go through everything that happens. I'll go through the script with you, and it's a really fascinating glimpse into what might have been, what might have been. You know what might be? You might want to hit that subscribe button. That would be fantastic. Thank you very much. Listen, I think it's no secret. We live in strange times. And I think independent voices are certainly being squeezed out a little bit. So if you could hit the like button, that'd be great. If you could hit the share button, that'd be great. Hit the subscribe button, fantastic thing. And really, you should do that with any other YouTuber you like as well. We really, really need your help in some way competing against these multinational corporations that control reality itself. So if you do subscribe, of course, as a little bonus, so the wee little bonus, I'm giving this prize away tomorrow. You get to enter my weekly competitions. I've mentioned them already. The prize this week is Mission Impossible 1, 2, 3 box set. Bam, 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 bam. And so there's a little bit of an interesting thing about this one. I bought this one in Israel, so the packaging is all in Hebrew. You might like that, you might not like. It says Tom Cruise in Hebrew, so Tom Cruise. I remember when I was in rabbinical seminary and in it was the early 90s, right? And they had the posters for Batman Returns. And we all laughed. We all kept saying, Batman Chazé. These returns in Hebrew. Anyway, the movies are all in English. You don't know why they're all in English. I guess you could watch them with the Hebrew subtitles. All you need to do to win it is subscribe to the channel, which is the freaking reason I do this. Subscribe to the channel, and in the comments leave the hashtag 5 seconds to self-destruct. If you can comment, by the way, that's also really helpful. I do try and answer all my comments every day. 5 seconds to self-destruct. Go check the video notes. That tells you everything you need to know to win the prize. And also is a link to my Indiegogo launching hopefully this week. We're getting closer. My Indiegogo over here, these 2 graphic novels. You get these one of these 4 highly tasteful, highly professional art cards with any purchase if you join the email list, which is what I'm asking you to do right now. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for doing that. If you get the package where you get all 4 art cards anyway, we're going to give you a 5th Chaser one absolutely for free, because that's how grateful we are, how crazily grateful we are. Fine, so let's talk about this Doctor Who movie that never happened. So this would have been, I think, around 94. Leonard Nimoy was really interested in it. It was a script by Denny Meyer, the guy who wrote Star Trek 6. So in terms of Phil, I think it would have been something like imagine a blend between Star Trek 6 and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. That's basically where in my head I'm casting Alan Rickman as the villain, who's a master. Now the really fascinating thing about this Doctor Who is it's so connected to Doctor Who lore, right? It reimagines stuff a lot, but it's very, very, very connected and delves a lot into Doctor Who's past, past continuity that we've all seen. So fine, let me walk you through the plot. So it starts off with a quote from the 5 Doctors. If any doubt that we're in for a bit of a continuity of it. It starts with a quote from the 5 Doctors saying, "A cosmos without the Doctor scarcely bears thinking about." So then we cut to a reimagined death zone on Gallifrey. Again, imagine it. Much bigger budget when they're not in Wales for a week or fun filming. There's lasers flying from the sky, and again, I imagine they would look better than they did in the 5 Doctors even the special edition, right? Even the super special edition. So there's a tomb robber there. This Arabic-looking tomb robber. He's called Rahmed. And he's menaced by like these giant two-headed snakes, and eventually makes it to the craggy stone rock face of the tomb of Rassilon. And he breaks in, and again they have all the traps, much like the Five Doctors. All the traps he gets past because he's a very good tomb robber. And he finally makes it to Rassilon's tomb. He opens up the sarcophagus and goes to steal the ring of Rassilon, and then is turned to stone. Cut to 1593. We're in a tavern where Shakespeare and William Marlowe are drinking together, and the Doctor is also there in the background. The Master enters, and he starts a fight with Marlowe and Shakespeare. This is a famous duel in which Marlowe was killed. The Master kills him. In some version of the script, he was called Mandrake because they weren't sure if they had the rights to the name, but he's essentially the Master. Kills him by sneakily pulling out a hidden stiletto knife and shoving it into Marlowe's ribs. Then he starts to fight Shakespeare, and Shakespeare's completely outclassed. He's fighting the Master, and the Master's got his sword next to Shakespeare's throat. And just then, the Doctor steps in and says, "I think that's enough of that." And there's let me read you some dialogue. The good thing about this book is it does have like dialogue excerpts, so you do get a feeling of what of what this type of Doctor was like, and it really is. The more I read this, the more I go, this. I can hear Pierce Bronson saying these lines. So he stops the sword and says, "I think that's enough for the night." The Master says, "My quarrel's with this man, not with you." And the Doctor says, "Your quarrel is with all mankind, I think." So they have this sword fight. I'm going to try and leave this open because there's a bunch of quotes we're going to get to. He disarms the Master, and the Master stomps off reasonably, angrily. Then the short conversation with Shakespeare, and Shakespeare's like, "Who are you? Who am I? I'm the Doctor." And leaving the Shakespeare go, "Doctor who?" And we do get a lot. Yeah, you got to expect that, right? You got to expect that. We do get a lot of that. Then we go, boom, into the main title. I have no idea what they'd be like, but I think they would have probably referenced. I mean, listen, there's so much continuity here. I think they probably would have referenced the Wrong Granger theme tune somehow. So inside the TARDIS, and the description of it is pretty similar to the Paul McGann TARDIS that we saw in the 96 TV movie. And I think they took a lot of cues from that. It's this eclectic Edwardian time travel thing. So, but also in the TARDIS is K9. And yes, K9, really, K9's in it. And we only got to early drafts of the script. K9 was supposed to be in more of it. They just hadn't worked out what he could do yet. What they were. But K9 was certainly going to be a part of it. Nobody really knows why this version of Doctor Who fell apart. They were who was it? Is a European company had the rights. Oh, I'm going to remember as soon as I finish this video. And they seemed all guns blazing, wanted them to move forward with it. And then they dropped it, and they did. Then they let the rights expire, which meant it impossible. And that's that Leonard Nimoy and Denny Meyer, I think, exited as well. So it basically died as soon as they let the rights elapse. And I think probably they just didn't have enough confidence in it, and that's probably what happened. But anyway, K9 was in it. And K9 tells him he's been summoned to Gallifrey by the CIA. Again, lots of continuity. Lots and lots of Doctor Who continuity. He arrives thinking he's in trouble for interfering with the fight with Shakespeare. And he starts a defense about saving Shakespeare's life and how important it is. And they say, no, we're not really here for that. We don't want you here for that. They brought him in to investigate this break-in into Rassilon's tomb. And so he's looking at the statue of the man statue of the guy who was turned to stone, and of course he's a Doctor, so he recognizes where it comes from, what the where this guy is. He's an ancient Egyptian, I think, from 2500 BCE, which is where he knows all about it. And they're like, well, what is that planet, Doctor? And again, let's look at some of the dialogue here. It's The Doctor said, he's not from this planet. Yeah, he's not from this planet. He's not from this solar system. He's not from this galaxy. Oh, yeah, this is great. This is why I wanted to mention this line. So where's he from? The Time Lord says. He's from a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. There are a lot of winks to camera. There are a lot of winks to camera in this. So they ask him about it. Said it's a heavily populated but underdeveloped planet in the Solar System Milky Way galaxy. So do they travel? The Time Lord asks. They commute long distances to work. They like to spend their vacations in enormous cars with refrigerators and televisions. Do they travel in space and time? And the Doctor replies, the civilization did not, but their 23rd century they had wandered a few parsecs from their own galaxy, but that's all. They never understood space-time at all. Okay, that's he's a little bit dismissive. So then we cut to was it 1800 BC, and there are grave robbers breaking into a pyramid. I think the tomb of Cheops. To steal the treasures within. They get into the treasure. So yeah, again, the vibe of this is I think kind of like a cut price Indiana Jones, like Indiana Jonesy. If you get cut price, I guess you think like Scorpion King, that sort of thing. The Mummy, those Mummy movies with Brendan Fraser, that kind of like globe-trotting thing. So yeah, they're in 1800 BC. And the people are breaking into a tomb, and they break in there, and the Master turns up, right? And he attacks them, and then he electrocutes the ringleader of the grave robbers. He's got these new electric zapping powers, and he takes this giant, this big gold jewel that they were stealing. Which as he takes it, it causes like a mini time storm. So we cut to 1937. There's a Lockheed Electra biplane flying, and it's buffeted in a storm, which is really the time storm caused by stealing this gold jewel, which also forces the TARDIS out of the vortex. So the Doctor says he's got to save this person, the plane. So in a complicated maneuver, he materializes the TARDIS around the burning and crashing biplane, and it manages. It has it appear in the Zero Room. Zero Room is a big player in this movie for some reason, and the pilot of the biplane is quite obviously, I guessed it when I first read 1937 biplane. It's Amelia Earhart, who's very, very clearly the companion of the movie and called Amy throughout. So there you go. Amy Pond was preceded by Amy and Amelia Earhart. Kind of, I think, very, very similar to Amelia Pond in terms of personality. Very. Like her, but just not. I think American, not Scottish. So again, my head canon, I'm like who would play her? I'm putting Sarah Michelle Gellar. I think she's about the right age to be like an early 90s Doctor Who movie companion, with Pierce Brosnan being the Doctor. So we cut to there's this alien club. So again, it's got that very Star Trek-y feel, where they do like look, you do see the universe. Then there's like these exotic alien belly dancers. The Master comes in, zapping the bouncers with his lightning powers, and he steals a red jewel from one of the belly dancers. He puts together the gold jewel, causing another time quake, right? And that's felt inside the TARDIS as the Doctor and Amy head for 2500 BC, which is where the tomb robber from the tomb of Rassilon was from. So they get there and they meet Aman. Aman is the brother. Who I think the actor would have been the same actor as a guy who played the tomb robber. He's the brother of Rahmed, the tomb robber at the beginning. And he's a pickpocket. He's like a bit of a petty thief. The Doctor notices that he's wearing an anachronistic watch, which it turns out he stole from the Master when the Master was there. The Master was there to hire Rahmed, his brother, to break into the tomb because he's a tomb robber. So A man joins the TARDIS team upon hearing his brother's dead, swearing revenge for his dead brother. So the TARDIS then goes to another. It goes to 1900. Goes forward in time to 1900, which is where the disturbance happened, and they find the gold jaw is missing. But Amy also finds a button from the Master's coat there that doesn't fit in, and the Doctor identifies that's coming from Transylvania in the mid 1500s, and that's where they go to next. This creepy castle, Vlad the Impaler's castle. Of course, Dracula. Again, this is just a smorgasbord of just fun stuff that you people kind of know about. So Dracula's there. When they get in, they're attacked by a pack of wild giant mastiffs, which the Doctor then pacifies by giving candy bars to them, I think. And then they find a massive portrait of the Master, which a man identifies as the man who hired his brother. And the Doctor said he's a Time Lord, much like himself. So that cues a flashback. So these flashbacks, there's a couple of reasons for them. One, to explain what regeneration is and what Time Lords are. But also, again, the rights were running out and they hadn't started principal photography yet. So they wanted to film one. They needed to film one scene, right? They had to have something in the can, otherwise they lost the rights. So they wrote this in with another actor that he get to play the Doctor. For this like one or two scenes. So it's a flashback. It's the young Doctor and the young Master, and they're under the watchful eyes of their teacher. They're stealing a TARDIS, right? The Master gets them to steal a TARDIS to go and explore. And again, this is under the watchful eyes of the teacher. The teacher says, to the Doctor, you've got to, with great power comes great responsibility, or something to that effect. And they go to the 13th century Ottoman Empire, where they witness a guy being accused of stealing, which he hadn't done. He had his hands cut off. And this really shakes the Doctor, and also really shakes the Master as well. And the Doctor's like, well, let's look at the young Doctor dialogue, which is over here. But there was a bit of an exchange with Amy when he was telling her about the TARDIS, about what the TARDIS is. So they got stuck in the shape of a police box. He says, how to get stuck. He said, that's a funny story. As it happens, I was staying in Totters Lane in 1963 when a couple of school teachers and I went to visit the Stone Age. So yeah, it's so connected to Doctor Who. So where is this? So first, you have the teacher who appears later. He says, you have still got a good deal to learn. We all do. Learning is the greatest adventure you can go on. I'll teach you class tomorrow. So the young Master says, I'm going to steal a TARDIS and travel throughout the cosmos. Come with me. And the young Doctor's like, but, young Master's like, are you afraid? Young Doctor says, no, but, well, then it's a pact. So the teacher knows this is going on. He says, you will find yourself in a position of great responsibility. You may be required to exercise moral judgment. Do not undertake this lightly. And Doc says he'll be careful. Oh yeah, so this is the bit where he's watching the guy get his hands cut off. The young Doctor says, shouldn't we do something? The young boss says, yes, no, we shouldn't. Young Doctor said, but he's innocent. He says, well, I suppose he is. Perhaps if we gave evidence, spoke up for him, they might listen to us. And the young man says, we're not supposed to interfere. The Doctor says, this is terrible. And the Master says, yes, isn't it? Again, I just like Alan Rickman would have been the guy to cast, wouldn't he? So the guy has his hands cut off and the Doctor throws up, I think. And young Master's like, are you finished? And the Doctor said, the punishment was awfully severe. So the Master says, a leader has to have a strong hand. It sends the right message to the people. Whether the man was innocent, he's like, that's a minor detail. So anyway, they go their separate ways, and the Doctor just likes adventuring so much. So eventually, he steals his own TARDIS. And then we cut to an older version of this young Doctor, same actor, I guess, different, with old makeup on, and he's on the Titanic with his companion Victoria, not the same Victoria, obviously not the same Victoria, and they meet the young Master, who's now looking very mastery, very sinister. He's got this sinister beard. It's funny, isn't it? Yeah, you put a beard on somebody in the minds in the 1960s, that made you sinister. Okay. So the Master's there to witness, or maybe cause the sinking of the Titanic. and he causes the Doctor's first regeneration. He pushes him into the inky depth, the icy inky depths of the water, where he causes his regeneration. And he eventually washes up on the shore with his TARDIS. I guess quite far away. So later we have the new Doctors. This is the third Doctor we've had. We've had the Pierce Bronson Doctor, who's like the current Doctor. We've had the young Doctor. We've had the old young Doctor. I'm counting as the same one. So now we've got the new Doctor, right? And he's visited by the monk, which is clearly the meddling monk, who's I think working for the CIA, who tries to persuade him to get into the fight, interfere, and combat the Master, right? Which is basically he's been doing ever since. So we cut back to the current Doctor, Pierce Bronson, in Transylvania. Dr. Amy and Aman are then attacked by a legion of headless bodies. So they again, we have an action sequence. They escape. This movie just sounds fun. I have to tell you, this movie just sounds fun. I really want to have seen this movie. They escape back to the TARDIS the next time. It doesn't sound like like the best Doctor Who. It just sounds like a fun movie. And so then they get back to the TARDIS. So Amanda's hungry, and the Doctor says he'll take them to Paris in 1891 for a spot to eat. So they go back to Paris, 1891, and the Doctor, Amy, and Amanda, they go to the Moulin Rouge. It's all very bright, colourful, there's can girls going everywhere, and they're being watched by an unseen Master from the shadows. And there the Doctor realises the Master is trying to rebuild the key to time, right? And he's using the Doctor's he's like reading the Doctor's mind to find out where the pieces are. So then we cut to another scene where it's on an alien planet inhabited by very sexy Amazon women from the moon. Like very Frank Frazetta style Amazon women. He kills one of them and steals a green jewel from them, causing like another mini time skip. And yeah, so that's how the Doctor realized the Master is using their Time Lord connected brain, their telepathy, to work out where the segments are. So then Amy passionately kisses him, so he won't think about where the segments are. Again, this is very similar to the kiss in the '96 movie, but it's distracts the Doctor, and it does put a good bit of sexual tension between them. Which is carried on, I think, for pretty much the rest of the movie. She says, "Oh no, I was just trying to distract you," but clearly she has the hots for the Doctor. No, it's Pierce Bronson in the early '90s. I think pretty much any person had the hots for him then. Fine. So they go to the Hermit's planet layer, looking for the other segments to make sure they're okay. And they find him nearly dead, right? He's been attacked, he's been zapped, he's nearly dead. The Hermit the Doctor promises revenge. I will avenge you. And the Hermit says, no, don't go down the path of revenge. And then there's like a little comic moment where Amy says, "Oh my God, he's destroyed your geranias, your flower bed." And the Hermit's like, "Kill him!" with his dying breath. Okay, so back to the TARDIS Zero room. The Doctor's helping Amy fix the plane and says, "I got to put you back. It's not safe for you anymore." But she refuses to go, of course. So then, if you thought it was continuity heavy so far, just wait. Then we cut to Carnaby Street in the 1970s, and we got Tom Baker in it. Tom Baker, playing the Fourth Doctor, shows up, and he's hiding the key to time, right? He goes to a crystal shop to hide it there, and there he meets. Oh, we got there's tons of dialogue here. So there he meets the Pierce Bronson Doctor and Amy and Aman. Where is it? Oh yeah, so we have Pierce Bronson, Doctor. Yes, don't know you, says Tom Baker's Doctor. You will. I'm you later. Great heavens, is it safe? It does kind of. I can hear Tom Baker saying that. Is it safe? Not for long. I don't think so. Not for long. I don't think. What are you doing here? I'm looking for a crystal. The key, the sixth segment. Is it the sixth? I thought it was the fifth. I lost count. Doesn't matter. I was going to hide it here. Thought it would go entirely unnoticed. How clever of me, says the Pierce Bronson Doctor. Yes, indeed. Yes, says the Fourth Doctor. So then the Fourth Doctor, they hang out for a little. Says, I have so much to ask you. Did you ever run into the frightful Daleks again? Are the Time Lords giving you a hard time? And what about the Cybermen? Have you? And then they talk for a bit and they go, yeah, indeed, you will have a splendid time. Watch out for Logopolis, he says. The Pierce Bronson says, watch out for Logopolis, however. The calculators there are fiendishly complex. The Master shows up. And they have a big fight. The Fourth Doctor, the current Doctor, Amanda and Amy, and then the current Doctor manages to get the jewel, but the Fourth Doctor is zapped into unconsciousness. And the Master manages to kidnap Amy, right? And the Master sends word to the Pierce Bronson Doctor that meet me and I'll exchange you, Amy, for the jewel, which seems a bit of a weird choice. But the Fourth Doctor's going to go with him, but he says, no, you need to go back to your timeline. But it's just such a bizarre... I was sort of like, would he have done it, you think? I think probably, yeah. I think he probably would have done it. So the Master tells them to meet in the 1960s San Francisco in the Fillmore Theater, where there's a Who concert, right? So again, it does feel a little bit like the Flintstones movie. You know, you had the BC-52, so it's very kitsch. I kind of like it. I guess the version I'm imagining in my head, I kind of like. So the Master gets the jewel, and he's got like flower children handing out wine spiked with LSD to cause confusion or disarray or something. The Doctor gets Amy back, but she's been hypnotized and can't break his hypnotic control until Amanda says, why don't you try kissing her? See if that'll break the break-in. And of course that works. So the Doctor uses his telepathic connection to the Master to track him. He's on this space station built into an asteroid. The Master needs the key to time, it turns out, because he's dying. This is his last regeneration, and he wants to stop time so he can still Rassilon's ring and give himself an entirely new life cycle. Again, this is one of the most... This is like John Nathan Turner's continuity heavy, on steroids, right? So, and then he pulls his face off. He's wearing a mask to reveal that he's not really, the good-looking Master, but he's falling apart. He's the desiccating Master that, I think somewhat similar to the Deadly Assassin Master. So the Master assembles the key to time, and time itself starts to implode and fold in upon itself. So you got things like Red Indians running amok on Fifth Avenue, spaceships from different eras appearing, colliding. Lots of things that shouldn't be together appearing together, and the Master creates this hole in reality. Right? They have this big fight. And Amy and the Master are knocked into it. Amy's holding on to the edge of the hole, like holding on for dear life. And the Master's like pulling him down. The Doctor says, I'll save you. And he's like, no, you're too important. And then she lets go and tumbles into this blackness with the Master. But reality, and leaving the Doctor just holding Amy's scarf. But reality is still imploding around. So the Doctor and make it back to the TARDIS. So we got to go and do a stitch of time. So this is a bit of a cheat ending. They travel back to the tavern in 1593. And instead of having a disarming the Master, they have a big sword fight with the Master with Shakespeare and Marlowe. And this time, instead of disarming him, kills him. And he dissolves because this is his last regeneration. And in an epilogue, right? In an epilogue, the Doctor picks up Amy again from the 1930s with a plane. But for her, it's the first time round. Like, she doesn't recognize the Doctor. So Amy says, like, look, I'm on a worldwide flight. A world flight. I don't have time to stop and go adventuring with you. And he says, no, we have all the time in the world. And all the time in the world is the closing song for it. And It just seems like I wish I could have gone for that in this movie. This seems like a fun old movie. It's really sad it didn't happen, right? But yeah, so there you go. If you want to do more, what you want me to do more of these? There's a few more versions of me. This is the best one, though. I have to tell you, this is by far the best one. The one I would have liked the most. And again, if you're talking about 5. Imagine Star Trek 6 meets the Kevin Costner Robin Hood movie, Robin Hood Prince of Thieves, and that's essentially very early 90s. That's what we would have got, and I have to tell you, it's kind of a shame. It's kind of a shame that we never got it. It's kind of a shame we never got it. Maybe Big Finish will do a version of it. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? That totally would be fun. My name is Sheila Beck, and you're the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.